If he's sharing, we may have to do a separate step.
And
Cool.
I apologize while we're waiting for other folks. Um, is it is it pronounced Javi?
No,
Zavi.
it's Zavi.
Zavi. Okay, I apologize.
It's okay.
Okay, you are the host now, Mike. Okay, this seems to be in order. You're the host. It's
Uh,
recording already, so
uh,
we're in session. Um, you've got Zavi and Aaron and Al, our newest member. How you doing, Al? Who
Good. How are
volunteered
you
with
doing
us at
today?
Shakespeare. Great, nice to see you. Um, Tam, Jean, Destiny are in the attendees. I'm sure you can see that there, Mike. And then we have a mystery guest calling in by phone. Who's the mystery guest on the phone? Oh, since they're on the phone, they're not a panelist and they can't speak. Ha! Well,
Jean Hamza is on the attendees. Is she normally a panelist?
no, since she doesn't live in 1B, she can't be a member of the committee. So we usually leave her in purgatory out there, although you could just promote her anytime to speak or put her in the panelists in the Zoom invitation since she's a regular attendee. No problem. No problem to change that. In fact, we should have done that weeks ago instead of just manually enabling her each meeting. No offense meant, Gene. Not at all. Gene saved my life last week, so we're just gonna sing her praises as much as we can. Um, so it's a few minutes in. I just want to say to everyone, thanks for being here. You saw my email over the weekend, I'm sure, that the commission has appointed Mike to be the new chair of this committee, which I'm super excited about. It needs sustained attention that I can't quite squeeze in among all my other chairly duties. So really happy for him to give some continuity to the ideas that this committee's been generating and bring some things to actual fruition. So thank you, Mike, for stepping up. It means a ton to us and to the community. And I'm sure with you here, we're going to build some bridges and find new audiences and recruit new committee members and all the wonderful things that this committee is meant to be doing. So look forward to seeing what you do with it. I'll stay on for a minute if anyone has any questions, but I'm happy for Mike to take it away and make it his own for the most part.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great.
Yep.
We'll give everyone like another minute here. I know we're starting already at 6:05, but we'll give everyone just one more minute. I know a few more folks said that they would like to join. Good.
And Mike, for my last name, it's Webspan. So
Thank
web
you.
and span. Thank you.
Is it two N's or one N?
Two ends.
Zabi, two N's. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's cut off on the screen when I started sharing. I knew it was there, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I gotta get off the share to see what it is." So thank you. Um, so we'll go ahead and get going here real quick. I think everyone knows one another, and Commissioner did a great job over the last few community engagement meetings, kind of getting everything ramped up. Looking honestly, I'm just looking at the next like 4 to 5 months to see what we can do for the rest of the calendar year. I know there was a lot of great ideas that were shared in past minutes and past meetings about ideas that were out there in terms of kind of larger events. I'm looking at September, October, November, and into the holidays and early January is what's realistic to get ramped up for the community engagement. Knowing that some of the stuff may not may have a long lead and or some stuff like the block parties out there may not actually be happening again in earnest until call the springtime. So just want to just kind of introduce some, I call them five subcommittees. There's probably a better name for there, but just for lack for a better terminology, five subgroups within our larger committee, kind of break it out between meetings for folks to work on. And these are just my ideas. So if anyone has better ideas or think one, doesn't really need to be there, please let me know. And then again, this is just from the notes that we've gone over in the last couple of meetings. One is the block party committee or subcommittee. And that would be, and I'm going to go through these all, and then we'll kind of break them up and talk about it a little bit. Kind of getting some organization about how the ANC can help promote and support block parties and local residential events, whether it's putting together like a cheat sheet, or a to do like presentation of here are the 5 steps of doing it, working with the city, what you need to do with DDOT, how you apply for funds with ANC 1B, general rules of doing a block party, something that gives an interested party out there a little bit more information than kind of going through different agencies and different web pages all throughout DC government. But also finding ways that we can support them, because I think this is a thing that Karen Gall said that we should be doing more of, and I agree. These are great events for neighbors to rub elbows, and I think build awareness within the ANC 1B community. Next one, I know there was a lot of talk about the farmers market, reactivating it either at the Harrison Rec Center, but I think the last meeting we were really leaning towards the Reeve Center. And I know there was a few people reaching out, and I think Jean had some past knowledge on it. I believe Karen Gall had some people that she knew on that one and was going to reach out. But reactivating that, I think realistically, with all what's needed on that, that's not really going to happen to actually have a table on the cement until March, April, May. But it's something that we probably need to get ahead of that, see how we can get it activated, the permits involved, get an agency involved, see what resources we need. And then obviously, at the end of the day, we need to promote it so that the community is aware of it. The next one, and these are in no particular order, by the way, the Duke District Banner Celebration Committee or subgroup. I know that the ANC 1B and adjacent ANCs have also been working on rebranding U Street, and kind of the corridor along there is the Duke District, is part of the greater DC plan that was put out, I think, in 2005. And I think there's an opportunity for this committee to help celebrate when the banners get launched, whether it's some music events or food events or just some sort of walking tour event. But there's a lot of great ideas out there. I think this one has been kind of pushed into the springtime, so that was a little bit more of when the banners will actually get launched. And so having a group kind of focus on that, I think might be a good idea. The last two are a little bit more admin and operational. They could probably be just very short-term committees, maybe like ad hoc committees once a year. One is kind of figuring out who our neighborhood and civic associations are, as well as the local park friends of groups, getting lists of those together, who's in charge, who's the best person to reach out to, maybe what their social media channels are, kind of creating a master list of who's in our neighborhood. And then that would also give us an opportunity to reach out to them for events that ANC is doing, but also opportunities for us to reach out to them and say, how can we support? So, we're not in the position yet to kind of reach out and go from, neighborhood association to neighborhood association, but it might be nice down the road to have someone from the ANC every 6 months hop on one of these meetings and meet with the community, see what they would like to see, and kind of provide that opportunity for some input and also let them know what we're doing. But again, first thing I think that we need to do is kind of get a list of all of them out there, a list of who the key players are, and also best ways to communicate with them, and also their social media channels. So if they're doing something fun and exciting, we have it linked to our ANC account, and we can cross promote it where it's relevant and where we think it would be beneficial for everyone. And the last one, again, this is more operational and kind of admin related, is general advertising, marketing, and promotional materials or things we need to do as an ANC to get our name out there. So things could be anything from revamping the website a little bit to or adding some more stuff to the website on a page where it's more about how you would host a block party, or getting more involved with like calendar of events. Also for the ANC 1B, it'd be nice to promote our newsletter, getting people signed up, having a banner a banner and a table for different events. I know Miguel has been doing a lot of this on his own, and it would be nice for us to support and get more people activated and kind of linked to the ANC 1B newsletter or social media channels. And again, this one is kind of more of a future. So as we're doing more exciting and fun things down the road, we have a better base and a larger group to actually promote to. So that if we do a larger event, we already have kind of that community built up that we can send an email to. We can send, put something on X or on Instagram or Facebook, so it reaches a wider audience. I know there's a million things that we could be doing. Those were the five that I looked at as possibly that we could achieve by the end of the year. But again, that's just where I kind of had everything flesh out. Wanted to kind of get the committee's ideas if there's anything on there that looks like it's missing, or things that we could kind of put in the back burner, or just general comments and feedback. So I'd be really interested to hear everyone's thoughts on this.
I can go first. I really like it. I think it's good to sort of divide and conquer in this way, but I did have a couple of questions just about sort of the vision and how you think these might work.
Okay.
So do you think that there would be like project teams rolled up under like each one of these? And like how would you foresee like staffing these subcommittees?
No, excellent question, Zabi. So for some of them, actually for all of them, I think there would be an ongoing presence. My thought was that with the ones that we wanted to do is to kind of divide and tackle with the group. There would be kind of a subcommittee in a subcommittee assigned to it. So people would pick the ones that they're most interested in, things that might be more relevant to skill sets, but kind of a subcommittee that would be in charge of the development of kind of to use the farmers market for an example, getting the farmers market activated. So there's a lot of people on this committee that have had past experience with the farmers market. I think it'd be good for them to kind of take the lead on it, kind of give them the latitude to reach out and see what needs to be done. And then my thought just in the initial part, I know we're all busy with meetings, but maybe between our monthly meeting, we'd also have a subcommittee or subgroup meeting, kind of talk about next steps, action items, and then see what I can do to help out in terms of getting some contacts out there, or working with different agencies to help streamline it. But my feeling was that the groups would be kind of get this up and running, and then each month their ideas and their thoughts and their progress to the committee as a whole, the community engagement committee, so that we could talk about like, hey, we like this, we like that, but kind of give the subcommittees a little bit more latitude to get some of these things up and running. And then as things progress, the larger projects. I know I was emailing Miguel earlier today, is that the passport program, the business passport, love the idea, but that is going to be a large project down the road. Something like that, I think, would take a much larger, almost the whole committee to do. But for these smaller ones to get them launched, I think it would make more sense to do a subgroup and kind of give them the latitude to get it up and running to a point where, it's in a place where the committee could kind of just refine it and move forward with it. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah, and I guess just another question would be like the exercise that we went through during the last subcommittee or the last committee meeting we had was to like review proposals and that sort of thing, and like give recommendations to the ANC for who we think should get funding or help. So would that fall under a subcommittee, you think, or would that be sort of like the main committee's role still to weigh?
So on that proposal idea, so I think most of those came from the like the block party or how we got funds and stuff like that, or how we disperse
Yeah.
funds.
Mhm.
I think it would be interesting to see, like, from that, the block party would say we give $1, like to have them make a recommendation, like say $1.50 per attendee. And I also think that as a committee, we probably say for right now, we're going to limit, the community engagement to block parties or certain, neighborhood residential events. And I know we had two out there. I feel bad because one was mine, so I feel a bit out of place talking about it. But in terms of school events and stuff like that, that one was a little bit. Uh, oh yes, give me 1 second. I have to promote someone. Give me 1 second. For something that was a little bit more contained within a specific community, it wasn't open to everyone. Promote to panelists. Okay. It was that I think we can kind of talk as a committee as a whole, but I think the block party committee can kind of make the recommendations of what they'd want to do for allocating funds moving forward. And then obviously we would talk as a committee, as an engagement committee, make sure that felt good, and then we'd go from there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then for the staffing, I don't know that we have a ton of people on this committee, or maybe we do, and they just haven't shown up the past few times that I've been in the meetings. But do you foresee any sort of issues from a resourcing perspective of like having like really robust committees, or is it going to be like a one-person committee or one-person subcommittee potentially?
No, I would like to get at least two or three, possibly four people on each subcommittee. Just going through the list, I'll share my screen again here in a second. Um, I think with the more admin ones, I know the ANC 1B has two admin staff on who help out. I think we could leverage them to help us get and collect the neighborhood associations and civic associations, kind of that data, with one person from our group kind of overseeing it or kind of assisting or just kind of saying what are the fields and what is the information that would be helpful for us. Um, I think we could definitely rely on the ANC to help us with that. For something like the farmers market, I think that needs to be a little bit more robust for the short term to get it launched. And then also for the Duke District banners, I think that could be a larger event, and we'd probably need a few more people on that. But I'm hoping we can get at least two or three people on most, if not all, of the subcommittee, so it's not just a one-person show.
So are we going to keep the folk who have been signed up for these committees on the committees, or are we moving them off?
No, no, and that's Ms. Gull. I think whoever is signed up for the individual committees, I think it'd make the most sense, and I would love for the people to continue with it. I know you had a lot of great ideas on a lot of these ideas. Um, so I think having you be part of that, or as many as you like, would be great. Um, and then obviously having anyone who is interested in the committees, some people may only have time for one or only have interest in one, but giving everyone the option to join the committees that they'd want. But kind of with the idea that in these more formal meetings or these monthly meetings, we'd have more updates, and then the subgroups would meet more routinely, especially at the get-go to get things moving, or at least, things a little bit more in order to present at our monthly meetings. I'm going to, Brendan, you have your hand up.
Yes, I was just wanted to ask if we had a rough timeline for this and what communication channels we're using outside of the monthly meeting.
Great question. Let me go ahead and share the screen again. And again, this is, just kind of my first crack at it. Give me 1 second, everyone. So with the subgroups or subcommittees, um, the neighborhood civic local park associations kind of getting, I'm going to call it an Excel spreadsheet, some sort of data set of who are all the different groups in our area, um, maybe presidents, executive teams, emails, and who they are, their social media channels. I would hope that we could probably collect that by Thanksgiving. With the advertising, marketing, promotional, website stuff that we'd want to refresh, same thing. knowing that we would add additional things moving on, but kind of have some sort of set collateral that we could have for if we want to have a table at an event. Where's the sign up sheet? Is there a QR code? And really try to encourage people to join the ANC 1B newsletter or social media outlets so that we can communicate other events to them down the road. The block party subcommittee, that one, and it could be residential events too, but we, since our last meeting, I've gotten 4 separate emails just from random folks across the neighborhood, some in our ward, some not, just asking about how to host a block party. So putting together a cheat sheet of how to put together a block party, like what forms you need to do, here are the 5 steps, and then also kind of defining what for 2026, what our general guidelines are in terms of financial support. Again, I think we could probably get that up and running and, approved by us and, presented to the ANC 1B executive team by Thanksgiving or by kind of mid-December. The 2 on here, which I think are going to be heavier lifts or bigger lifts, is the farmers market and the Duke District banner celebration. I think both of them are going to be just logistically a little bit more intense. And so those may have like a little bit more of a rolling, in theory, I think those could be a little bit more into the spring. And again, with the farmers market, there's the initial launch or getting them reactivated at the Reef Center, but then there's also the ongoing. So, some of these are going to be a little bit more one and done, or at least just a little bit of a minor ongoing maintenance. The farmers market will probably need a little bit more hands-on throughout the year, even once it's up and running, which will be its own heavy lift once we get there. So if I had to put number of people next to each one, and obviously I would love as many people to be part of each one of them, but like with the block party, maybe like 2 people. The neighborhood civic association, we have the resources with the ANC 1B, maybe 1 or 2 people, the advertising marketing, maybe 1 or 2 people on the committee. But I would guess that we would probably need the most hands on the farmers market, getting that up and running. And that might be, one team that gets the ball rolling in terms of it actually going to happen, and then another team actually, when the farmers market does happen, supporting them. And then the Duke District banner celebration, I think that's one that will need a little bit more folks to help out. And again, this is just my initial thoughts on like how I think what we could do between now and the spring. There's so many great ideas out there that my one concern is if we did a super large, big project right now, it might be a little bit overwhelming for the committee since we're kind of new, and it might be nice to get some of the structural stuff done first and then tackle some of the bigger projects once we get our feet wet.
I did send you a message in the chat, Mike.
Oh, great. Give me 1 second, Karen. I'm still getting used to all this, by the way. Oh, yes, definitely. Thank you. Does anyone have any thoughts or like, I know everyone's kind of, and we don't have to decide right now, but is there any thoughts in terms of, are these the ones that we want to tackle for the next 3 to 4 months? And, obviously the Duke District banner and the farmers market is going to go longer than that, but are there any other ideas on this? Any ideas that you think might be better suited?
I was just gonna chime in and say I think this is also could be a good tool to recruit additional volunteers. I think folks sometimes don't know what we do, and so having you're gonna work in the farmers market or the block party could attract talent that we may not have right now and interest level from the community. So just a thought.
No, that's a great point, and one I didn't even think is that, if you have something out there that, someone might be interested in community engagement, but someone might be really excited about the farmers market.
Right.
So it might actually drive volunteerism. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and another question, do they have to live in 1B to be on a subcommittee?
So that's I actually wrote that down. We and I don't know what the ANC rules are, to be honest, so I'm going to check on that. I know for our civic association, if you're a chair, you have to be, but if you're a volunteer, you don't have to be. You could be adjacent, because obviously, especially with parks and stuff like that, everything is kind of it melds together after a while. So that's a fantastic question. I'll check with the ANC on that.
Well, generally, for these committees, you have to be a representative from the SMD. That's in the bylaws.
Okay.
So I think what you would check specifically for under the bylaws of for each one of the committees, it'll let you know that you should be representative of each SMD within the ANC.
With the
But I'm
ANC.
sure that, I'm sure there's some flexibility, but for the most part, it's always, I mean, for the number of years that I've served on these committees, that's always been the case.
Okay. Okay. Okay, was that, and then not to put anyone on the spot or anything like that, but the two on here, the farmers market and the Duke District banner celebration, um, you know, what is there anyone who's like excited for doing those? Are there I know they're going to be pretty involved, but I think they're pretty important for the community. Is there anyone that would like to kind of volunteer for either of those or any of those in terms of like wanting to be on one committee or the other?
I I'm still I believe that we during one of our meetings that I signed up for both of them, but um if there is not I just wanted to see whether or not everyone is, how we're doing this. As Zavi had mentioned, we have such a short group. I was just curious if all of us were just serving on each one of them. So, but for the most part, I do know that I had raised my hand for both of those.
And that's what I remember too, Karen. And those are ones like for me, the farmers market, I can help with tables and chairs. I have no past. I went to it a few times, but I know there's a lot of other people on the committee that are much better suited to getting that reactivated. I would probably want to spend a little bit of my time on the block party, kind of just refining that because I've done it a few times for our neighborhood. And so that'd be one I'd want to spend a little bit of time on with the um, Duke District banner. I can help out on the events, but I know that I think it's the Economic Development Committee that's also doing a lot on that. But I would like that to be a big, robust committee as well. And if some of these get tabled, if the Block Party subcommittee gets tabled for, until February, that's fine if we want to focus on other things. But I think the ones that would probably I would want to see filled up sooner rather than later is the farmers market and the Duke District banner celebration.
And then also, Mike, there's also the ANC just did a resolution to support a banner project that's with the African American Civil War Museum just the other day. They're doing banners like a tour banner, a walking tour banner project, but they said it wouldn't conflict with this Duke banner project. But just as a heads up, I think that whomever's working with the banners should be aware of that, just to see how both sets of banners is going to work within the community, since it's a new project that we don't have in the community.
Agreed, completely agreed. Great. And then um, with the and I see a few of the folks have added to the chat that they are interested in joining committee. So thank you, everyone. That would be actually something that we'd want to kind of promote as the ANC, regardless, is that when the African American Civil War Museum does their banner celebration, and also their big kind of relaunch party of the renovation stuff like that. That would be one thing that I think we'd want to do a lot behind. And I think that's Karen, is that still scheduled to open up in November, or is that date kind of a moving target? Do you know?
I would have to ask Mr. Smith, what's the progress on
Okay.
that? It's been moving for such a long time, so I'm really not clear, but I thought it was November, and I know that we were interested in trying to do a little soft launch for the banners. I think we discussed it in this committee
Yeah.
about doing something in regards to our banner project. So cons considering that they are also doing a banner project too, I just really want us to be aware, and if they're launching something, that we are also doing something too. But we never got to the point of doing like a little ad or a postcard, a mock-up of what the banners are going to be looking like. I'm really curious to speak with someone, because um from when we last touched base, I was supposed to be receiving some information from a Gale, but it never came through. So I'm looking forward to getting that information so that I can
Uh,
do this.
and that was in regards to the
The
kind of
Duke
what the
banner,
banners, the Duke
yes.
banners. Yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
great. I'm
Right,
going to
but
add that.
the resolution for the Civil War Museum banner, it went through
Okay.
for last month's meeting. I believe it was approved during that meeting. Or, actually, I'm sorry. Actually, we voted on it in the transportation and public space meeting earlier this month. So it's going to probably come to the commission during the October meeting. But
Okay.
okay, but I do know that there's I'm just looking at the placement of the banners, and how it's really going to appeal to the area, because I do believe they said it wasn't conflict, but they may just be opposite of each other across the streets. We'll see how it looks.
Gotcha. And I know we also talked about making the banner seasonal, the Duke District seasonal, or like refreshing them so that like if we were doing if there was a big citywide event or a big community event, that the banners would get, at least some of the banners, if not all, would kind of like play to the theme of what's going on at that time.
Exactly, exactly. But the walking tour museum banners, I mean the walking tour banners are supposed to be extended from Howard University all the way down to the museum, and it's
Okay.
supposed to be like historical markers of events and people, from what I understand. But
Okay.
again, they do have the locations already mapped out, but they haven't given us a mock-up of what that banner is going to look like. But I'm curious as to where the actual locations for the Duke banners are going to be, and the design mock-up on that.
Okay.
But thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So I'm going to just go ahead and add that to, give me 1 second so I don't lose this. Okay. Placement and look. Thank you, everyone. For a few more of you have chimed in on chat. Thank you very much in terms of helping out. And then I know, I think the other things that I kind of went through some of the former notes on that, kind of going into the bigger items for maybe, kind of think about for 2026. um, the local business passport program. I did email back and forth with Miguel a few times today, and he had mentioned, and something I wasn't aware, that District Bridges had actually done something similar for I think the U Street corridor or for one of their areas. And so, being such a large kind of potentially a large swath that we'd want to cover. And then also with these things, um, done events in the past that these things can actually be a larger project than you would assume on paper. I think it might make sense for us to reach out to District Bridges and or the other ANC committees, maybe the economic development team, to see how we can partner and get maybe a passport program launched or thought about for, spring of 2026. But I think that's going to take a little bit more involvement and time. And what I'd like to do is, have those conversations, but kind of knock out, the farmers market, the Duke District banner, and some of the other stuff now. And so for something like that, which might be an all hands on deck event, would want to kind of make sure we had the capacity for that. And then the other thing is that at Malcolm X Meridian Hill Park, we have had the Shakespeare in the Park, but also Karen, you had mentioned the drums, kind of getting a little bit more involved on that and promoting that. Does that go year round, or do they take a break during the winter months? Do you know?
Well, I think it normally goes up until the fall. It depends on, I guess, the mood.
Okay.
It's I think that if we are a little bit more intentional and to let them know that we're being supportive, I think of that particular project. But what I was thinking, because it's always a gathering, I think if we're consistent with something that we could bring to the table, while people are gathering there, um that would probably be a little bit more in line with what would be needed, because considering that it's a drumming circle, most people bring their own drums, and it's more creative. I just was thinking that a support
Yeah.
just one, finding out what would be something that they would be interested in. I think educating our young people about the project, educating the community about the project from a historical standpoint. So in the engagement aspect of it could be getting people to come to learn about drumming, to see if they have like little signups for it. There was certain things just to carry on the legacy of that, or build on that, as far as a community event for people who may not know about drumming but might be interested in drumming. That was one aspect. And then also supporting the drum circle in itself, to see if there is like some type of consistent offerings that we could bring to the group. When you come, you want to bring something with you. So I'm just thinking that there could probably be a contribution of some sort that we could offer, that it doesn't have to be monetary. It could probably be of an item of sorts, but I hadn't
Okay.
really put my head down to think about that yet.
Okay.
But
Excellent. And then
you see what I'm saying? Because it's a, like, for new participants as they come in, that they can feel welcome to the thing, to the circle. Maybe, I mean, even if we did t-shirts, something real nice but participatory. That's all.
No, I like that, and I like the idea of doing the educational aspect too, especially for our younger neighbors, to kind of give them a little bit of a background on the legacy and everything like that. So I think that's a great idea, and it could even be just like, I mean, poster boards of like some of the stuff. But I think also just having um, some sort of knowledge sharing and helping with the promotion. I think that'd be a great idea, and I also like the idea of like doing some sort of support on that. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yes, and I think, and I'm just looking for the consistency of it, because it's been a program that has been ongoing for, I can't even remember the date of when it started, but it's a definitely something that ebbs and flows, and I just think if we had some consistency and they had the support that's needed, it would be really a fantastic offering from the community.
Uh, agreed. I think having that having sometimes just that support does allow things to be a little bit more cemented, and be kind of a permanent fixture of the community. So I think that's a great idea.
Thanks for asking. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Um, Zabi, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I think that would be a good opportunity to partner with the Malcolm X Stands group that Miguel, I think, is heading up as well. I don't know how many people are part of that, but I'm guessing it's more than what we have on our committee here. So some of those people might want to also get involved or may already be involved with the drum circle, but bringing about like more of the consistency that Karen was talking about.
Zabi, would you mind repeating yourself? And I'm not sure what group you're referring to.
It's a Malcolm X Stands group, I believe. It's an email list that I signed up for that Miguel sends out in addition to his many other duties.
So well, I added that, and we'll why don't I'll send Miguel a quick email after this because I have a few follow-up items. I'll ask him for that kind of the listserv or how we sign up for the email, and then also learn a little bit more about it. There's also the people in the parks. I'm probably mispronouncing their organization name, so I apologize. But the folks that help support the Malcolm X Meridian Hill Park from the NPR standpoint.
Yeah,
But it would also be good to
Josephine.
get them involved too, so that I'm always a collaborator, so I like to get as many people involved because I always think it's better for the community. So um, it's Sands, Sands, Zabi.
Stands,
Oh, Stands. Sorry.
Stands, yeah.
Okay.
And I
Okay,
know
so
they've done like some park cleanups and different things like that. And I think they were support or part of the support for the Shakespeare in the Park as well.
Okay. Excellent.
yeah, and the Josephine Butler Parks, like you said, the Friends of Josephine Butler Parks, they actually Steve and them, they do a project. They actually have been taking care of the park too. So I think that as you mentioned, it's a whole lot of groups, and I think if you are bringing everyone together, Mike, I think that would be excellent because it's always good to have the more the merrier, right? And
I
everybody
agree.
can work together. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank
Okay. Give me one second. I'm just going to copy it real quick. The last thing that I had on this was, we just had the Art All Night event, which was great. It was fun to see all the artists up and down U Street. I'm normally in bed by 8 p.m., so I stayed up extra late for that. And it was really nice. There was some great artists, in all different genres up and down. And I thought it added a lot of vibrancy and just kind of like, it was just fun to see. It was a different aspect of U Street that we don't normally get to see in terms of it being on the street and just different. It was just fun to see the activity. And then there's also Restaurant Week, and there's a few other events DC or citywide special events, and just ways how we can support the businesses and the community when those happen. I know that the city does a great job of communicating out, but it wouldn't hurt if we like included it in the newsletter, or we could also piggyback on one of those events and do like some sort of side event that is adjacent or congruent with what they're doing, so that it kind of melds together in a different or special way. So I don't know if there's any big events coming up. I know DC does the holiday markets coming up. And then there's obviously Halloween, but trying to think of any other like events DC or citywide special events that are family focused or neighborhood focused, that we want to start thinking about. And maybe there's just, for the first event, we just put a table, get some outreach, but maybe there's other ways that we can be a little bit more, hands-on with those. Karen, you had a question or a
Yes.
comment?
Do you wanna look at their calendar because they always publish a calendar. And I
Great.
can tell you that for Halloween, there's always community events that's done through the civic associations. The third district does a Halloween get together, and then of course you have Thanksgiving coming up where we do events. But I did make a suggestion before to sort of try to get neighbors a little bit more engaged with each other so they can get to know each other. I it was not a block party. It was just more of a similar to what we were discussing about visiting each restaurant and business. but it's a neighborhood meetup where I'll talk to you a little bit more. I think if you look back at some of the community group videos or whatever you guys, however you do the storage of this, I basically gave an explanation of how you have like each one of the neighbors. You probably get like one of my friends, my girlfriends, we had did this out at her place out in Baltimore, where they had all of the neighbors got together, and each neighbor, what they did was they had like a specialty for each one of their homes, and they did like a neighborhood a neighbor crawl. So everyone went
Huh.
to each one of the neighbors had like a specialty day, like I mean a specialty, like one of them would do like a theme, a particular theme, and they all had like 40 items for that particular theme. The next neighbor would do a particular theme. So everyone did like a little neighborhood crawl. So everyone went to all the neighbors on the block, and they had a fantastic time. And it was better than a block party because everyone, they just had a wonderful time. And then they did it again, and I was like, okay, we need to do that here in DC. I just thought it was a wonderful way to get to know neighbors, because a lot of people really don't know their neighbors, amazingly. And so even with multifamily homes, it was, they were able to accomplish it. So everyone just specialized in a particular theme within their home. So, but what you can do as an ANC to support it would be to like, because it's something where you set up like on your porch, so people don't really have to like traverse through your home. The ANCs could either rent tables or get like the napkins and stuff like that. They serve from drinks to different dishes or whatever, like appetizers, and everyone get together and talk to each other, and they had music, from the various locations based on the theme. It was really, really nice. So I just thought that was a great way to get to know each other, and, as neighbors, because people truly don't know each other like they should. They just walk past each other in this neighborhood now. But that was just, I thought it was a great idea.
I'm going to reiterate Aaron's comment. I love this idea. Like, I think this is and it'll obviously evolve over time, but I think, from the ANC perspective, if we could play like a, supporting role with these of like, we'll provide the tables, the paper plates, the napkins, if you need easels, stuff like that, power cords, kind of the stuff that is like the operational stuff, and then kind of how to promote and kind of ways that we can support and advertise it, and then other ways we can do it. It will kind of come with time, but I think this is a great idea, and I think this is a great idea where it's kind of low pressure, and like more of a casual event, so people are going to have a lot more like kind of friendly conversations. And I think it's a great idea. I think this is a fantastic idea.
Thank
Um,
you, Mike. When I tell you, you can have so much fun, and it's like different themes, and it's like you said, it's low pressure. When I tell you, they did one time, they did like a cartoon theme. Then the one time they
huh,
did like a year theme based on one neighbor did 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. One of them did Scooby Doo,
huh.
Powerpuff Girls, all that kind of little stuff like that. And then one of them did the animes. They did all the different animes. It was just something fun that everybody participated in. And then you had like themed food, themed drinks, whatever you want to serve up. So if you had like 20 houses on a block, so you had to prepare at least for 20 to 40 people to come
Yeah.
and visit you. And then we went from neighbor to neighbor to neighbor to neighbor, and it was, when I tell you, it was just really fun. And you do it on a weekend, and everybody got to know each other, and it really had really solidified that neighborhood. And I've been telling everybody about it ever since, so that everybody can spark that energy to get to know their neighbors. So I'm so happy that you guys like it. Thank you.
No, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's and I'm assuming everyone made like a dish or had like whatever the theme was, but like everyone kind of chipped in, so not one person was like doing all the work, I'm assuming.
Oh no, everybody, no, right. So
Yep.
like if your house your house, and then when I say it's hors d'oeuvres, you're not sitting up there
Yeah.
making like like you're doing sliders and real like really light fare. It's more about the company, more about the decorations. Everybody had to outdo each other. It was fun. It was truly fun. I mean, you really had to want to have some fun, but everybody got together, they planned it. It wasn't high cost. If the contributions, like you said, would as the homeowners associations, they basically contributed the tables, the napkins, and if it
Gotcha.
was some decor added to it, like, as you mentioned, the easels to sort of add to the balloons and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
to sort of add to the decor, but just to keep that thematic thing going. But if it was like little cups and stuff like that, but the
Yeah.
food and stuff was really, really low cost.
Good, good, good. I like his stuff like that because it's like it's sometimes things can get fussy. And keeping it like just a fun, like not simple event, but fun, like just everyone chips in are sometimes the best events out there. And then everyone gets to know one another and it's just it's a fun time for everyone. Um on this note, I know we're getting close to the 7 o'clock mark. Is there any other things? I'm kind of taking some notes of who would like to be part of what. Um, and then, is there any other comments or any other ideas out there that we want to kind of throw out? Zavi?
Yeah, so for the farmers market, I have been sort of working that for the past couple of months.
Great.
Haven't made a ton of progress, but I think we do have some interest from Fresh Farm if we want to go in that direction. So I'm happy to sort of share with you any of the developments that we've had thus far. One of the things that we did talk about last time was potentially engaging with Common Good City Farm. I did hear back from them that they really aren't resourced to help support us in this effort, so
Okay.
they've kind of gracefully bowed out. But I do think that if we want to move forward with Fresh Farm, there are a few things that they're requesting that we provide, including a location, essentially, I think it's like a manager or something, I can't remember the exact term, and then a statement of need. So I think it's really just those three things to kind of get the ball rolling with Fresh Farm.
Do you know, and I know this is probably putting, I think that's great. Do you know, with Fresh Farm, do they provide the tables and tents, or is that something like we have to provide? Because I think the idea from the last meeting is it would be great to reactivate the Reef Center on that. I've been to, that one and a few other farmers markets. I know that, you have to probably get permits with the cities to block off the street or areas of the street, probably use the space. Um, do they have like a list of how that gets set up, or is that something we'd have to ask someone else in terms of how we'd work with the city to actually activate a farmer's market?
Yeah, no, they didn't provide any of that information, but from what I gather from their website, it seems like they kind of take the lead on all of that. And
Oh,
we would
okay.
kind of just need to provide them certain information. But yeah, I have a point of contact there that we can reach out to and ask additional questions like that. So maybe one thing we can do as an action is come up with whatever those questions are, to be able to then feed them over to Fresh Farm and just kind of get the lay of the land.
Yeah, that would be great. For Karen, you had a question?
Well, I just want to ask Zabi. Zabi, is this the same? I know I had given you a contact, but I thought they had like a truck where they set the like a food, not a food truck, but like a little, like a little truck, like a produce type truck where they park and they stay there so that people can come and get the items. Isn't that what they do, or is it something different?
No, Fresh Farm is a bit bigger, I guess, of an organization. So they run the DuPont Farmers Market as well as several other farmers markets in the area, including some, I believe, in Maryland and Virginia. And they seem to do kind of like the whole soup to nuts, like their whole
Ooh,
business
okay.
model is essentially setting up and running farmers markets. But I know there are some farmers markets in DC that are not run by Fresh Farm. I think the Bloomingdale Farmers Market is an example of one, but many of them are. So they're, I think, a nonprofit, but they are kind of corporate in terms of, and they have resources to help set up and run and grow farmers markets.
Okay, so they will get the vendors, each one, they select the farmers that would be providing the food to the community. And do they also work with all income levels as they're doing their work?
I believe so, but those are certainly questions that I can take back to them and confirm. I know at farmers markets like DuPont, they do have like the EBT SNAP that is accepted and provided to folks. So I imagine it would be a similar setup. And I think there are also regulations within the city about how farmers markets are to be run and access and all of that sort of stuff. So I know that they have a bunch of stuff on their website about sort of how they support as well in those
Mm-hmm.
types of endeavors for low income and all of that.
Okay. And so when we the reason why I asked you where do they source their farmers, because there's a huge, I'm always making sure that all of the populations of farmers are being sourced, are being tapped on upon so that they can be a part of the farmers market. So I was just curious as to do they provide you a list of the farmers who serve their markets, and do are they open to receive a selection of farmers?
Yeah, I think those are great questions and we can certainly take those to them and confirm and get their answers on how they do all of that and handle all of that to ensure that it's a good fit for what we're trying to do with our farmers market.
Right. And I mean, just because we want to have the diversity that's necessary and be supportive of the local farmers who are able to supply the needs. Because I do know that they offer a great selection of things. And I just wanted to make sure that that they were, because I think they had stopped doing certain things and supporting the populations in certain areas. And I was curious if they had gotten the funding back to take care of the, as you mentioned, all of the different populations who needs, based on their income needs, who needs more resources. So I was just curious if if they restarted that part. But thank you so much, Zavi. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I think yeah, Zavi, these are all great. I think obviously uh you know Fresh Farm has done this a few times with um various farmers market in DC. Um, my inclination is to kind of get a list of questions to them and see how they, kind of what they provide and kind of a lot of stuff that Karen just went over. And then, if they do everything from soup to nuts on this, or at least, most of it would be a great way to start. My feeling is we could also, um, help whatever farmers market go out there by really promoting it. Because I think if we can get it activated and it feels like we're really involved with the farmers market and the farmers market feels like it's a good opportunity for them, I think we can kind of push them or kind of suggest to them to like do more things. If they may not be in a position to add more farmers right off the get-go, if we build up a base, I think we can start, suggesting more opportunities out there so that we can build a more diverse base in terms of um I don't know what their protocols are or anything like that, but my feeling is that we kind of interview them, see if it's a good fit, really promote it, and then start seeing if there's other opportunities that we can expand the farmers market to include more items out there.
That's excellent. I think that's a really, really excellent thing. So that means that we'll be maintaining the database of the farmers as well as the persons who we use to set it up, so that we'll keep a list of the resources as well. Is that what you're suggesting, Mike?
Yeah, I think they probably come with a set of vendors, and they don't know how these work, Karen. So I'm just kind of spitballing here. I think they probably have a list of vendors, and there's probably a way that you can become a vendor on their list. And what I'd like to do is see like who their vendors are, and then also as we get into it, if there's vendors that we want to have them add or vendors we think would be great for the community, work with them on getting those vendors added so they could be part of the market.
And and as you were talking, because I think we're both creative on this one. I was just saying this would be a great way to market, to get businesses, small businesses into the market from the ANC side. Just like Al had mentioned earlier, if you put the fillers out there to let people know that guess what, we're about to have a farmers market. And if you are a vendor who would normally participate, this would be an ideal time to sort of weigh in
Yeah.
or be interviewed, as you mentioned, if you're a great fit. But of course, with the parameters that Fresh Farm sets up, since that's what they do, and I think, as Avi mentioned, those were the questions that we can ask. How do they source their vendors, and are they open to receive the community resources that we have to offer as well? So I think that's great, and it really pitches into the community and supports the community from that particular level. Thank you.
Uh, this is all great. This is fantastic. Zabi, what do you need from us? Or I guess we can work offline. I guess they have a list of three things that they were asking us, and then we have a list of questions for them. Do you want to just kind of get offline and see the one thing on there they asked is if we have a manager. Um, I'm wondering if that has to be like an officer of the ANC or someone who's like an kind of the exec team, so that they have a point of contact that is kind of signing off on things. Um, do you want to just kind of get offline and kind of talk about that one?
Yeah, yep, we can do that. I
Okay.
thinking about putting together like a Google Doc that I could share with everyone and maybe give everybody a week to make sure we've got all the questions we want so that we can provide that sort of single response ask to Fresh Farm and hopefully hear back from them and be able to kind of go from there and figure out our next steps. I don't know if we'll need to have like a discussion or if we'll maybe feel comfortable and say, okay, yeah, here we know what we need to do and we can move to the next step. But I think the first step is really just kind of gathering everyone's thoughts in one place and going from there.
I think that's fantastic. And thank you for doing all that. Do you know off the top of your head if there's a cost to it or do they just make their money off the vendors?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any cost
Okay.
to the ANC for this one.
Okay. I think this would be fantastic. So thank you. Um, does anyone have any other? I know there's a million things we could cover. Does anyone have anything else before our next meeting? The one thing I did want to just check in, and I'm a little bit flexible on this. All the other meetings, committee meetings start at 7 or close to 7. Did we want to move our committee meeting to beginning in October at 7 p.m. or do people like the 6 p.m. better? Or they're, I guess, yes, no, or indifferent.
I think 7 works better for me, but I'm flexible.
Okay.
It was just unusual, the 6 p.m. I was so used to the 7 p.m., but it worked out today. I can't complain
Okay.
on the 6 p.m.
Great. Aaron, did you have any preference?
No, I do not. Sorry, I
Okay.
was finding my mute.
Oh, no, no, no. So I'm seeing indifferent. I prefer 6. A lot of folks. We'll just keep it at 6 for the end of the year. If it does get a little bit into conflicting with people's work or other things, we can always revisit it. But I think it'll make it a little bit easier. Just keep the Zoom invites at 6 p.m. But It was the one outlier, as Karen mentioned, that it's all the other ones are at 7 p.m. And I figured that was for a reason, so I just wanted to kind of check in with the committee to see if there was a preference one way or the other. Okay. Kind of on this one, I sent out a few emails, and there were some committee members who weren't able to join us. So I'll send out the link with the Zoom, and see if we can get some more folks signed up for the banners and for it looks like the farmers market, we have quite a few people signed up for. So it's really the banners that would be the big one, and then some of the admin items as well. But if anyone thinks of anything else, always feel free to send me an email. And I'll also send everyone my phone number too, in case you want to text or call me too. Does anyone have anything else, or I think we're done then. I don't know how to end meetings officially, so I don't know if I have a big gavel that I have to hit. But thank you very much, everyone, and looking forward to working with everyone. And I'm excited to get some of these things going. Some of them are going to be, kind of ongoing. Some of them are going to be, really fun, exciting events. Some are going to be operational, but I think they're all going to add to the community. So I'm looking forward to all of them.
Well, I thank you, Mike, and I'm looking forward to the action list. And how are you gonna you're gonna just chunk it out to us based on the subcommittees, right?
Yeah, for right now, I'll include everything on the general meeting notes that we've had today, but I'll start breaking them down. I'll see, we have about like 5 or 6 other committee members who weren't able to join, so kind of get with them offline and just see if there's ones that they want to participate more than others. And then we'll just kind of chunk it out to the subcommittees.
Okay, thank you very much. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I don't do online meetings. I'm like the one person in DC that does not do online meetings. So this was a little bit new to me. So thank you everyone for their patience on this. So everyone have a good night.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Okay. See.